Alrighty, thank you everybody. And again, I want to apologize about the difficulties today. It's a Monday, so we're having a little bit of struggles along with IT struggles, so I appreciate everybody bearing with us. So we'll move on to item number 3, the roll call.
Kyler Cox.
Here.
Mercedes Kaiser.
Here.
Ashley Pasquale.
Here.
Philomeno Roberts.
Here.
Jimmy Brooks.
Here.
William Byers.
Here.
And Cameron Moses.
Hello.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to item number 4, the call to the public. We will now have an open call to the public for citizens wishing to address the board on issues within the jurisdiction of the board. Your comments must be limited to 3 minutes or less. If you wish to address an item already on today's agenda, you should wait until that item is announced for a public hearing. At the conclusion of the open call to the public, individual members of the board may respond to criticism made by those who address the board, may ask staff to review a matter, or may ask that a matter be placed on a future agenda. However, board members cannot discuss or take legal actions on matters not already on the agenda. That being said, would anybody like to address the board during the call to the public? Come on up.
Good evening. I honestly don't know what I'm supposed to say. Board members or, like, you know, you're not the mayor and city council. So Bonnie Toy. Something I realized, that microphone is too loud. During a city council meeting a couple weeks ago, there was an issue with the Main Street Commons and the whole design process and how that went. They ended up having a very long meeting in regards to that, but just in case you guys weren't all made aware, the designs that were presented to the city council and the way it came out, where it feels like it was 2 different things. And it was really frustrating as a citizen to sit there and see the whole design process get rearranged again and again and again, and the pictures not matching up with what was presented to what's actually being reality. I just wanted to, because I think sometimes things should be allowed to be changed even at the last minute. And just wanted to make sure that you guys were a little bit aware of allowing yourself to have leeway to change things. And I wish the council would allow themselves to have the leeway to change things. Because the shade structures at the Commons, when you actually go and look and take pictures of where the shades are supposed to line up at the hottest parts of the day, it's not going to line up on the park benches. It's going to line up on empty places of grass. So I just thought I'd share that. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the board during the call to the public? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item 5.1, approval of the July 28th, 2025 meeting minutes. Looking for a motion.
I'll motion.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, move on to item 6.1, the director's report. Director Vera.
Hello, everyone. It's been a few months since we've seen each other. I hope everyone has been doing well. I am excited to have all of you here today so we can talk about some of the things that the department has been up to the last couple months and some of the things that we're looking forward to in the coming months. So just to start off, so in our parks, we've had we've had quite a bit of work going on. We replaced Ramada A, which we talked about in our last meeting, and now it's being completely reconstructed. We've already got all of the power and the LED lighting, so it looks absolutely beautiful. We've updated the amenity, the roof and structure is now sound, so kudos to our team for getting that done. We actually also added another Ramada for additional shade throughout our park system, right by one of the Rotary Park playgrounds by the accessible feature at the playground by the beach. Additionally, too, we've been working with the contractor on the Site 6 fishing dock. Through that replacement process, we isolated some electrical services and we assisted with securing and making sure the construction site was safe. We laid down some specialty bricks out at Dick Samp Park, specifically with the help of the Pickleball Association. And then we've also currently been installing new signage at Sarah Park. So we've got the framing up, and between this week and next, we should have those signs finalized. So it's a great project we've been excited about just to streamline our messaging across all of the different amenities that Sarah Park offers. And then we also received our new holiday tree. So I'm going to go through the slides just so you can get a visual of everything we just talked about. So as you can see in that first picture, that's the new Ramada A reconstruction. And then right next to that one is the new Ramada that we placed up by that playground. Those are the specialty bricks that were laid out at Dick Samp, as well as the framing for the new signage that is going to be installed at Sarah Park. And then we have our new 50-foot holiday tree. Yeah. So you're going to see it from space. That's our hope. Yes. And then, so on top of the 50-foot tree, we have a 6-foot tree topper. So it's really 56 feet. So the team is really excited. We got that in, I believe, a little over a month ago, and we've already stored it. And then just to kind of backtrack, if you all weren't informed yet, November 5th, we will be doing a holiday tree ceremony. I'm not sure if you received the press release that went out, but it should be a really great event. The city is going to commemorate the holiday tree, and we're going to do a few special things in honor of the impact that this tree has had on the community. So we're really excited about it. If you're able to attend November 5th, please come out. I think it'll be a great event, and it gives people the opportunity to kind of share stories, listen to the history of when the tree was planted, what it's done for the community, and also what we're going to do going forward in the future. And then the picture next to our tree is the 4 new Ramadas we installed at the foothills. So our team has been really, really busy just trying to make sure that we've gotten some of these projects installed. And of course, there's some of the projects that we don't necessarily see, the main line breaks, irrigation projects, tree trimming, and then just our daily maintenance throughout the day, what we're doing to make sure our bathrooms are clean, our fields are taken care of, and our parks are well maintained. So in aquatics, we're currently having a recruitment for lifeguards. This closes, we're trying to push it back, actually, hopefully the first week in November. We definitely need to see some higher engagement in our recruitment for lifeguards. So if you or anybody in the audience knows of anybody who's looking for a part-time job as a lifeguard, that position is still open, so please apply. Hilltop's special open swim is on November 9th as well. So this is a free event for the community to come out and utilize the pool. And then we do have our annual pool closure starting November 26th. And then for those of you who maybe aren't aware, we close the pool every year for about 2 weeks. And this gives my team the opportunity to do much needed maintenance to make sure our facility is running safely, it's clean. This gives us the opportunity if we need to retile, clean out filters, change out boiler loops, things of that nature. This 2 week is really important to make sure that we're ensuring that the pool that is so heavily used is still up to snuff for the remainder of the year until next year when we have to close it down for another annual closure. So our recreation department has been very busy, just like our parks maintenance team. After school has been running really, really well. We've replicated field trips like how we did during summer. So we're working on more of education-based trips, so utilizing the relationships we have with other city departments, such as our fire department, police department, the Humane Society, just getting with some of these other local agencies, and giving the kids an opportunity to learn a little bit about what the city does, and what some of these local businesses do too. We've got a swim session for our after school care that actually starts October 22nd, and they'll be going and rotating to the aquatic center at least once every month. So I know the kids are really excited to be back in the pool. We did celebrate London Bridge Day, and the Parks Department actually submitted, and we had a float in the parade this year. I'm not going to brag, but we took second place, so we're super excited about that. It's the first time that we've participated, I think, prior to COVID, so it's been a little over 5 years. So the team really enjoyed getting back into the spirit of London Bridge Day, and it was just really cool. That was my first opportunity being a part of the parade, and I had a lot of fun. My son had a lot of fun. The team had a lot of fun. So a really, really cool event. And then we did have the Fall Fun Fair take place on Saturday. I'm sorry, we have a typo, but it took place on Saturday. We had 83 booths, so it was a really great turnout. We ended up selling out of raffle tickets, having to run and go get more raffle tickets. So this was a really large turnout, one that we haven't seen this big in quite a while from some of my staff explaining it to me. So a really, really great event. I know some of you had booths there, so I'm sure that you really enjoyed yourselves as well. We do have our Halloween Spooktacular coming up this Friday, so this will be our second annual Spooktacular Trunk or Treat. And we're really excited. We've got some new amenities going on this year. We've got over 26 trunks, and we're still looking for more. So if anybody is interested in participating and putting out a trunk, we still have spots available. We've got mini golf and carnival games and slides. So we're really excited to give the community, again, just an additional opportunity to celebrate Halloween throughout the community. The other thing that we are doing a little bit differently this year is, in years past, we've partnered up with the Elks Lodge for what's called Hoop Shoot, but we typically only ever did it through our after-school programs. Well, we had a great meeting with the Elks Lodge, and we decided that we really wanted to target more youth in the community and give them an opportunity to really take advantage of some of these great programs that are being offered. So we're going to have a Hoop Shoot event on November 1st. And that's going to take place at the high school. And it's just going to give the kids an opportunity to get out there, and possibly have an opportunity to go to Phoenix and compete. And this is, they do like a basketball skills challenge, and they shoot, and then whoever has the highest points moves on. So it's just something really different for the kids to get involved in. And we're excited to see, how this is going to progress in the future. We've got the GAIN event coming up, which is Saturday, November 15th. This is getting Arizona involved in neighborhoods. This is going to be run more so by the police department, but we will have a booth out there as well. I believe the sheriff's department is going to be out there, a couple other agencies as well. So just another cool event that's coming up. And then our mobile recreation unit, we've got some appearances. We'll be at the first Friday, November 7th at Main Street Commons. So we're looking forward to that. We've got our gratitude picnic coming up on November 22nd, which will be at London Bridge Beach, and it's just going to be a family-friendly event. We'll have yard games, and it allows for community connection, and it's a free event. Just something for the community to come out, get to know their neighbors, have the kids play, run around, parents meet each other. Just a good, wholesome event. And then we do have our Turkey Bowl, which for flag football, which is November 29th. This will be at the Island. And again, it's just a morning of, pick up flag football. So it should be a lot of fun. So this is just the recap. In August, we had over 20 plus events. In October, we've had over 20 plus events. So we've been very, very busy. I hope that you all have seen the social media and seen everything that's being pushed out. We've seen great numbers, great participation, and I think we're going to continue to see that. And we're just really excited for what's in store for the rest of the year. Hopefully this isn't going to be too loud, so I apologize ahead of time. Let me see if I can hopefully lower it, if that does anything. So this is our concert in the parks. So we had our mobile recreation unit out there as well as some yard games. We decided to diversify it a little bit and offer different experiences while the community's out there. We saw great participation in this as well. And then this second video is actually from the last Friday that just passed with Swamp Donkey.
Change my ways to living. How far is heaven? Can tell me.
So just kind of to state this, these have been community events for many years, and we are so excited and we're grateful and we are very thankful as a team to be able to continue to produce these events and have the number of community members come out and enjoy the cooler weather. I'm not going to say cool, but the cooler weather, and just be able to listen to good music, have a good time with their neighbors, and really enjoy the Parks and Recreation Department and some of the features that we offer throughout our community. I kind of want to show off our float from the London Bridge Day Parade. So that was the float that took second place. The pictures next to it, I know they're kind of far, but that was actually from the Fall Fun Fair. And then these are just the flyers of the events that we just spoke about. So the Halloween Spooktacular and the Elks Hoop Shoot. And then the GAIN event, that gratitude picnic, and the turkey bowl. I gave you guys all those flyers, so you do have them as well. And then this is what's coming up in November. So our November programs, we've got activities and events that start next week. And there's something for everyone. We have kayaking all the way to adaptive cooking classes. We're really excited. Registration for our NFL flag football actually starts November 1st. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. So that concludes my update. Does anybody have any questions?
Questions or comments for the director? Go ahead.
I'm curious, how many tickets were sold at the Fall Fun Fair?
Ooh, don't make me a fibber. I honestly do not have that number off the top of my head, but I will say this. I'm not sure if you all are aware of those giant reams of tickets. We went through 3 of those and had to go purchase more. So however many tickets are on that.
What?
So quite a bit. Yes, it was amazing. An amazing turnout. I think the nonprofits and community groups that were a part of the event were really thankful with the communication, the structure, the turnout. Again, just another great event that the city of Lake Havasu's Parks and Recreation Department puts on.
Any questions or comments?
Okay, I have another comment. The Fall Fun Fair was amazing. We had a booth there, and this is our 3rd year doing it as the Lake Havasu City Disc Golf Club. And every year just gets better and better, but for sure, this year was the best. We had so much fun, and seeing everybody out there having a good time was so nice.
Awesome. Thank you.
A question I had was, what's the minimum age for to be a lifeguard? You mentioned your recruit.
I believe it is 14 or 15. I'll have to double check and I'll give you that information, but I believe it's 14 or 15.
Awesome. Go ahead.
I have a quick question. The Ramadas at the foothills, are they getting tables?
Yes. Okay. So the tables should be delivered either tomorrow or Wednesday, and then they'll be placed. I believe they still have some grading that they have to do, and then they're going to drop DG. So once that's done, our team will actually place the tables. So, and then it'll be able to be used.
Awesome. Any other questions or comments? As always, credit to you and your team. You guys are killing it. It's so amazing to see all these different events throughout the community. Again, from a parent that has small kids, it's so awesome to see the variety of things that you guys are offering, and the wholesome community events that are so across the board. So again, credit to you and your team. I don't know that I've ever seen the Parks and Recreation department this busy. So I know they're probably working their butts off, but I can tell you again, as a citizen, it means a lot to us. So keep up the good work. You guys are doing amazing things. So
we have no idea what sleep is, but we know what caffeine is.
I can imagine. All right. Any final thoughts? Okay. We will move on to item 7.1, presentation and discussion, playground initiatives by ADA moms. Director Vera?
Hi, yes. So I was approached by some of the moms in the community, as well as Kyler's suggestion of putting this on our Park Advisory Board agenda. This was a great opportunity for this group in particular to come up and advocate for their community. We met last week and we had a great conversation on some of the amenities and features that we aren't we don't currently have in our park system, and the possibility of including that. And I thought it would be a great opportunity for them to take advantage of this opportunity to kind of speak about what some of their wants, needs, concerns are, and just let the board know a little bit more about how important accessibility is and advocacy and education is, specifically with what it is that they're asking. So, Jillian, if you want to approach the dais, and then I'll pull up the presentation.
Okay, so I can talk to you guys all day long on any given day, but coming in front of board is a little different story. So just bear with me. For those that may not know me, I'm Jillian Danielson. Most of you know me as River Scene Magazine, but tonight I'm here as mom. I have also grown up here, worked for the Parks and Rec for many years, and know our town well. I have 2 daughters. My daughter Sienna is 19 and has autism. When Sienna was 7 or 8, we were at the toddler playground because that is what she could play on. We were on the teeter-totter. Most children that are neurotypical are body aware and can know where to place their feet on each side of the equipment, but Sienna could not. She put her feet under the teeter-totter would land. It came down to the ground and it smashed her foot. She sprained her foot and had to do crutches. But because she couldn't know how to maneuver her right and left very well with her arms and feet, with her autism, she ended up having to be in a wheelchair at school instead. This is just one example of ways our playground needs to be more inclusive. She also for years wouldn't do the big kids playground at Rotary as she grew older. This is great for neurotypical kids who have a lot of energy and love heights and climbing. But this is just something Sienna has always had a hard time doing. Tonight we are here to let you know that we are a very large all abilities community, what we would love to see in our parks. Our parks are beautiful and we are grateful to the Parks Department for keeping them that way. But families like ours would like to enjoy them more. Sorry. Sienna can be unsteady on her feet. So even though she isn't wheelchair bound, rubber and wood chips can sometimes make her unsteady. Yes, she is 19, but our all abilities community love our parks. They love to swing and slide. But sadly, because our playgrounds don't have ramps for wheelchairs and wider slides or swings for over the age of 12, our adults and kids can walk around our beautiful parks on a nice day, but they can't participate the way they want to. Our all abilities kids and adults need ramps to slides. They need sensory slides, and they need large swings and wheelchair swings. I'm going to stop here for a second. Can we put up the 2 photos I sent you, or 3? That's not it. That's Esther. That's Sam. Okay.
It's all the way at the end. Hold on. Oh no.
Back it up, Gabby.
I'm going. Sorry. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. I went a little too fast. I got ahead of myself. Okay, here we go.
Okay. So the first photo on the left, you see a young man. Those are called sensory slides. A lot of kids love, especially with autism, they love that roller feel. They love that sensory. So a sensory slide is a big deal to them. There are 2 different kinds of sensory slides that I've researched that I've seen. And actually, they have some of these at Disneyland. They just recently redid Toontown at Disneyland. Granted, I know that's Disney money, but but when we walked into Toontown and we saw how they redid that area at Toontown, it's incredible. They have these sensory slides. There are also slides that are flat, that have bars that go above them. So if one slide may work at one park, another slide may work at, say, Avalon, for an example. The ones that are flat, they can lay on and use their upper strength to build that upper strength and pull themselves across. The photo in the middle is a wheelchair accessible swing. And then the one on the right is another version of sensory slide. And these all kids can play on. That's why I chose a few different photos. Anyone can play on these slides. It's not just kids with autism or that have a hard time. Okay, back to what I wrote. They need even ground so they aren't stepping from sidewalk to uneven wood and rubber chips. This rubber flooring also gives wheelchair access to parents that are in wheelchairs and want to play with their abled neurotypical children. There are also merry-go-rounds that are even with the ground for all kids to play on. We also are in need of a short fence line to separate the ADA playground from parking lot to roadway. If there is a child that elopes or runs, they can easily run into that street and a parent can't always get to them quickly, especially if they are tending to another one of their children. A playground like this is called an inclusive playground. It's a playground for all kids to play together, whether a child or adult is neurotypical, has ADHD, has unsteady feet, has a hard time climbing, or is wheelchair bound. Our bathrooms at our parks also have very heavy doors that make them hard to open. There is no adult size or child size changing tables in the bathrooms. Not all children or adults can use the regular restrooms. Their caregivers need changing tables for them and a stall for privacy. We need wheelchairs for the water to go down these awesome Moby mats that were just put in by a CFEL leadership class. An inclusive basketball court near the ADA playground would be awesome as well. These are Disney dreams, so bear with me. This isn't just about Rotary. We have many parks on both ends of town that become inclusive. This way, if Rotary is too busy for a child with autism that doesn't like the loud sounds and the busy, they have options to still enjoy our parks. Tonight, you are going to hear from other families that have some of these concerns. We are not here to bash our beautiful city, but we are here to work with you all, work with the city to ensure that all of our kids and adults with disabilities are included. We know that there are grants and fundraisers that need to be done, but we know it can be done. We don't have to do all the parks and all these things at once. Let's look at the trees and not the forest. Let's start with rubber flooring first and a couple of pieces to include on what the leadership did to continue on with the ADA swings. And by the way, those 2 ADA swings, they're for ages 2 to 12. Adults can't play on them, and they love to swing, so I'm just letting you know that. You've also heard the word tonight, neurotypical. This term is considered to be a typical brain, a person without cognitive or physical disabilities. Us families use this term instead of the term normal. So I'm going to read 2 statements tonight from families that couldn't be here. Dramatic pause. Okay. My name is Kristen, and I'm a blessed mom to Jaden, who's 16. She is amazing. We have lived in Havasu for many years. In fact, Jaden was born here. With Jaden's diagnosis, there were plenty of years of difficulty and concern. We still have those difficulties and concerns. During those days, it was nice to have little moments at our local parks or our beach. For Jaden, though, there were very few things she could do. It was difficult to climb or swing on her own. The parks were built for kids whose bodies were able. As her mom, I understood this, and I wouldn't allow it to stop us. But I could see how parents struggle. Lifting a child up from their wheelchair and bringing them to a swing that could not accommodate them, or even just sitting on pavement or grass for sensory kids is not always fun. I'm looking forward to seeing some accommodations for special needs kiddos. They and their families would benefit so much from what other cities are doing and have done within city parks. Please consider this as being proposed at Let's Make Havasu Parks and Recreations Facilities Accessible. Here's another one. I hope this letter finds you well. My name is Kelly Perry, and I'm writing to show my heartfelt appreciation for all the wonderful work our Parks and Recreation does to make our community such a beautiful place for families like mine. As a mom to my amazing son, Chase Perry, I care deeply about creating spaces where all children, especially our incredible friends of all abilities and on all parts of the spectrum, can feel included, valued, and free to be themselves. Our town is full of extraordinary kids and adults with special needs, strengths, and ways of experiencing the world. When they arrive at playgrounds, they deserve to feel the same sense of belonging, joy, and possibility that every child feels. Inclusive playgrounds give every child the chance to play, connect, and grow together. They encourage understanding, friendship, and compassion, values that truly reflect the heart of our community. I believe that with your continued leadership and creativity, we can make this kind of magic happen right here at home. Thank you for the dedication, time, and care you already give to our parks and spaces. Your efforts make a real difference, and I'm deeply grateful for all that you do. Please know that many in the community are eager to support and help in any way they can to make our play a reality for all. With appreciation and hope, Kelly, Randy, and Chase. Okay, so now this is my friend Esther. I'm going to show a video. She's unable to be here, but we filmed this the other day, so you can see how she navigates the parks with her son Joshua. I'm going to sit for a second so you guys can watch it.
And I'm here to show you my family navigating the parks that are supposed to be adaptive. So I'm going to show you Joshua going down into the ramp to go play with his brothers and sisters. And at this point, I can't push him any further. This is a battle. As a mom who does this on a normal basis, this is hard to push him through the chips that are here. So basically now there is not much that he can do, and there's really nothing he can do independently. So he can sit here and watch his sister and his brother, but that's about it. All right, so now I'm getting Joshua out of his chair. All right, come on, buddy. Hi.
And how old is Joshua?
Joshua is 5 years old. Oh, and almost 40 pounds. So this is pretty much the only thing that I can set him in. And here I can place him in the chair, but at no point can I let go of him. This is definitely dangerous. It's way too far off the ground. I know that there are other models that are lower to the ground and easier and more stability for him to sit in. So as you can see, this is fun. This is fun for him to do, but I have to sit behind him. I have to make sure he's safe, and I go around with him. Whee! Hi guys, we're gonna go over to the swings now, but I'm gonna show you guys, it's really, really important for this uneven ground to be even. Regardless if it's a wheelchair or if it's a child that has balance issues or is just learning how to walk, somebody's going to fall. This is not safe for our adaptive kids. I can't even get him on the sidewalk. This is not possible. You wanna help me?
Kick that back thing, the thing that rocks it. Put your foot on it. No.
This thing?
Yeah, that. Hold on. Sorry. I always use this.
Gotcha. Oh, see? Okay. These are not lightweight. So you're talking a 40-pound child with a 40-pound stroller trying to get that onto the walkway just to get over here. And now we're going to go into what looks like wood chips. Still not easy. And as we get closer, it gets worse. So, okay. All right, buddy, you want to go on the swing? You ready? Okay, let's go. All right. Come on. All right. I know. You got it. Yeah. All right. Here we go. All right. So you're in. You're in. Yeah. You can swing. All right. And then I have to move his stroller away because I had to pull it so close. So now just to swing, I have to pull this back, leaving him unattended. Yay! Go, Josh! This is his sister who has autism and ADHD, and she wants to come swing with him. So these are great. This one is 5 to 12. She's a little bit bigger than him, so she gets the larger one. These are great and all for siblings to play, but we don't have anything for the adults. Mile Markers, New Horizon, Rise, all of them are now left without a swing. We have 2 children's swings, but nothing for the adults. And the adults love to swing. So we've kind of left them without anything for our parks to do. Hey! Oh, your child's wild. It would be amazing to get wheelchair swings. They have those. I could just wheel him up and he could swing on there. That would avoid our whole first problem that we had where I had to wheel him up to it and then pull the wheelchair away from him and leave him unattended. So a wheelchair swing would be amazing. All right, so now I'm gonna go get him out and I have to push his stroller back to him. All right, buddy. You ready to go to the other park? Okay. Up and out. Let go. Yep. Let me have. You're safe. You're safe. Ooh. That's not safe. Come on. Oh, come on, buddy. No. Putting him back in is a chore. That's why a wheelchair accessible swing would be amazing to have instead of this poor mom who's gaining muscles. What? So, as you notice, we don't even have a fence or a fence line or anything to stop the kids from running out of the park. If I'm here with Joshua and tending to Joshua, his sister's a runner and I don't have any way to stop her. So for the safety of our kids, for the safety of anyone's eloping kids, a fence line would be nice to have. Yeah, welcome to autism.
I just watched you climb a jungle gym.
You did? Best video ever. Okay, so Stella is trying to cross the bridge by herself. It's unsteady ground, and she has autism and fear
Just keep going. Just keep walking. Just keep going.
that she is going to fall through.
Walk. You're fine. Come on. Come on. Look at you. Run, 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 run.
It's creaking, it's making noise, so it's scaring her.
Run. You're going to be okay. I promise. Run. Run, 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 run. Come on.
Okay. And here we go. This is very unsteady right here. As we go over it, it's very bumpy. It's a bumpy ride. Now we're at the toddler playground. So Joshua gets to basically watch his sister play because there's not very much he can do unless I grab him and take him down the slide. So I'll show you how we do the slide. All right, want to go inside?
Okay, so because Joshua doesn't do anything on his own, I just basically place him on the slide and just hold him as he goes down. So.
Right. On the slide. Yay! Hi. Here we go. Hold on, Mom. Yay! Good job. Big guy.
And we do it again.
Okay, so these are our handicap spots here at the park, right by the toddler park, and they are a tripping hazard. They are not clearly marked or anything, so we need to have them clearly marked so that people know that these are here for them, and they need to be paid correctly. So, ready? And this is how we spend our day at the park. We thank you guys for beautiful, amazing parks, but let's make it more inclusive to where everyone can enjoy it.
Okay, so we have one more video. The next video is a YouTube video from 6 years ago. It's a PBS video about Inclusive Playground in California. And I wanted you guys to see...
October is National...
that one. I wanted you guys to see this one because I want you to see some of the things that we research and we see that's out there and why we need it. And then after this video, Sam is going to come up and share her story. And then if any of the other families here want to share stories as well. Inclusive playgrounds are not just a luxury anymore for our families. Inclusive playgrounds are now the norm countrywide. Thanks for your time. Roll that video.
Disability Employment Awareness Month, but awareness of people with abilities other than one's own doesn't have to start at the office or on the job site. It can start as soon as a child begins to play. And so we bring you the story of one mother in California who decided to take matters into her own hands when she discovered her local playgrounds were not accessible to her young daughter. PBS NewsHour Weekend's Megan Thompson has more.
Let's go this way. Who are all these people here today?
Olenka Villarreal's 16-year-old daughter Ava was born with physical and cognitive disabilities. When Ava was young, her doctors encouraged Villarreal to take Ava to the playgrounds near their home in Palo Alto, California for physical activity.
They would say to me, take her to swing, get the movement going in her inner ear. It creates balance and awareness of space. And it was at that moment that I realized in the 35 playgrounds that were in my own community, not a single one was right for Ava because she couldn't hold on to the swings. So I approached the city of Palo Alto, and to their credit, they said to me, why don't you design the kind of playground you think we would benefit from in our community?
And so Villarreal did. The well-connected marketing expert, who was also vice president of the nonprofit Friends of Palo Alto Parks, tapped into her Silicon Valley network, eventually raising more than $4 million. After 7 years, the Magical Bridge Playground opened in 2015. Organizers claim it's the most accessible and inclusive playground in the country.
Most traditional playgrounds don't allow everyone to play together.
Peter Jensen is a landscape architect who designed the Magical Bridge Playground. He organized it into zones like spinning, sliding, and swinging. Each zone contains multiple pieces of equipment.
It just is guaranteeing that really no matter what your ability is, that you will be able to experience that play activity, whatever it may be.
Jensen says the playground system of gently sloping ramps is a key feature.
Instead of just having a prefabricated steel ramping system, this really goes beyond that and starts to incorporate that ramping into the overall design.
The ramps lead to the second story of the playhouse.
Most kids that have an inability to get up to a higher level don't get a chance to experience a tree house or an elevation, see the perspective of the playground in a different way.
The ramps also lead to the playground's slide mount. Jensen showed us a unique feature at the bottom, something he calls a dignity landing.
Most of the time when kids slide down on the slide, they would get to the bottom of the slide and then pretty much just be on the ground. The dignity landing, which is this piece right here, basically allows kids to slide down. When you get to the bottom, then you can move yourself over and wait for, if you need assistance to move out of the way, you can sit here and do that without then getting hit by other kids coming down the slide.
Over at the swing set, every swing is one of these more supportive bucket swings. At a typical playground, there might be just one, which could make a kid who needs it feel self-conscious. There's a motion-activated laser harp, so kids can play around with musical notes. The ground is padded with soft rubber, and there are no curbs to step over. And there are special pods for someone who needs a break from all the stimulation.
So at a typical playground, Robbie would look out of place.
Robbie Batista and his mother, Beth Goddard, have been coming to Magical Bridge since it first opened.
What's your favorite thing to do here?
Probably just having some a snack for my face.
Yeah, we like to come here and have a snack with his friends. Robbie loves the activities, the slides, the music, but it's so much more than that. It really is. It's about being able to interact and play with kids, but also other parents. There is conversations that start here that might not start other places. Just today, for example, he was in the treehouse, but a little boy came over and sat with him in the treehouse and said, hey. And Robbie said, hey. And It was a nice interaction that, again, might not typically happen.
Magical Bridge founder Olenka Villarreal says this isn't a playground just for kids with disabilities. Its inclusive design means everyone can enjoy it.
That was the overarching goal, is for me to be able to bring both of my kids to the same place.
The innovative playground is tremendously popular. On the Wednesday morning we visited, Magical Bridge was teeming with people by 10 a.m.
How many visitors do you usually get here?
We see about 25,000 visitors a month.
Is that typical for a playground around here?
Absolutely not.
Villarreal took us to another playground in the same park that was basically empty. All newly constructed playgrounds at public places like parks and schools must comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA. But Villarreal believes that doesn't mean they're necessarily all that accessible.
So this is ADA compliant. It's called the TANBARC, but we know for a fact that no wheelchair can get their wheels over this, right? It's impossible. This, of course, is not level, so you'd flip over. What makes every two-story play structure ADA compliant is this transfer platform. So this device allows somebody in a wheelchair to transfer themselves over, sit down, watch everyone run by them. How much fun is that? Or if they've got the strength of Hercules, they can pull themselves up to the top, and that's unlikely as well.
Villarreal says not only is her playground accessible to people of all abilities, it's also open to people of any age.
Ready? I'm ready.
David Rogers works for Abilities United, a support group for people with disabilities. He regularly brings his adult clients here. Today, Jill Matronga experienced the merry-go-round.
And she was enjoying that as much as I've seen her enjoy anything. I'm not sure how often that she gets to experience anything like that. Unless we come here, it doesn't really happen.
Jeff McDonald, another Abilities United client, comes here once or twice a month.
What does it mean to you to be able to come here and play?
Oh, God, it's so exciting. I start to smile when I can go down that slide or swing on the swing set, and, kids look at me like, what are you doing on there? And said, I'm having fun.
Jill Asher left her job at a tech company to help start the Magical Bridge Foundation.
Within a couple weeks of us opening the playground, we literally started getting requests from all over the country, all over the world, saying, hey, we want a Magical Bridge playground.
Asher and Villarreal are now building 5 more playgrounds in California and are upgrading the playgrounds at all of Palo Alto's elementary schools. They hope to bring Magical Bridge playgrounds to communities across the U.S.
Every time we leave here, what do you say? That was the best day ever.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, good evening. Let's go on. Okay. My name is Samantha Zazadil. I am a mom to 6 kids. My daughter Talia has special needs. I have lived in Havasu for 16 years and visited as a child. And through this experience with Talia, she's 7 now, it opened up our eyes to the barriers and obstacles we have faced with inaccessibility and the need to make changes. Like Esther shared, our family has a lot of similar experiences when it comes to being able to spend time together at the parks as a family. In order for Talia to play with her brothers, I have to carry her onto the playground to go down slides or just to be able to enjoy the equipment. She is this tall, lengthy kid. She's about 40 pounds, but she's almost my height. We're about a foot off from being my 4'11" self. And so it gets to be a little bit more difficult having to navigate her up and down the playgrounds so she can play. And another difficulty is because of her wheelchair, we aren't able to access the playgrounds easily because of the wood chips and the shredded rubber. Let's see. So a few nights ago, we were at Cypress Park. It was actually her birthday, and her brothers were all playing on the zip line, and she had her first crash. She's okay, but she just wanted to go play with her brothers and on the zip line and doesn't know any better, so she did her brakes on her wheelchair, and she wheeled herself into the wood chips and she fell. So we quickly got her up. It was more traumatizing for us. She thought it was so funny. But just being able to have that experience, it's just it's more of a need, because whether it's our child or someone else's child, or a parent needing to have accessibility so they can go play with their children on the playground. But because of that, when we had our meeting on Wednesday, Gabby and Guy got to experience how fast Talia actually is in unlocking her brakes and trying to take off. And so during that meeting, my 4-year-old kept getting stuck on the very top of the ADA playground, and I kept having to lock her in place and then run over across the playground to go retrieve him off the playground. And so in doing that, and I'm grateful we had a little group, but had I been on my own, with my kids there, it would have put Talia's safety into question, because there's nothing stopping her from wheeling herself and tipping over again, because I don't have accessibility to bring her across the playground to go retrieve her brother and help him. And so just accessibility is really important, and being able to provide that inclusion and that security and that peace of mind for families so they can have a safe environment. I'm just really grateful Talia didn't break something or have some type of injury when she fell. That's the first time we've ever had that experience with her. And she doesn't understand the safety aspect of not wheeling herself off the curb. And then I'm going to flip the script. What if I was in a wheelchair and I couldn't access the playground to help my child, or to be able to get to them fast enough before they ran into the road? Because of the experiences we've had as a family, and knowing that there's opportunity and growth, and being able to have inclusion for our kids in the playgrounds and just in the environment overall in our city, it's opened up opportunities where we officially launched. I officially launched Building Bridges. It's a nonprofit. It's an AMBUCS chapter. A part of the AMBUCS mission statement is talking about mobility and independence. And so that is something that I feel is really important, that we want to bring to the community, and being able to work towards getting a universal playground situated. That was the whole thing that started the chapter, was just wanting to have something available for our kids to be able to play, and our families be able to play, and just be together. Because there's a lot of times where Talia just sits along the playground and watches her brothers play. And as a 7-year-old, I know she just really wants to be able to go have that opportunity and be a kid. So we try to make that happen as much as possible, but with time, she's going to get taller, and she's going to get bigger, and being able to haul her around and up slides. There's a video or something too of me taking her down the slide at Avalon yesterday. Because we want to be able to give her that independence and that experience. But with this chapter, I also was gifted the Lake Havasu City Parks and Recreation Summer Brochure. This was the original special needs playground that was at Rotary before this new playground was updated. And I just think it's really special, and that reminder of the community and what we can provide for the families here. So with this chapter, we want to be able to connect with other foundations and Parks and Rec in the city to be able to fundraise and do whatever we need to do so we can get a universal playground situated, so we can just be able to make those memories and have that safety and independence for everybody. Thank you.
Sam, do you want me to play some of the videos?
Yeah, you can play some more videos. And then I have, can I walk these over?
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. And then Sam, can you explain some of the videos as they play?
So the first video, because we're kind of limited on what we can do, her wheelchair is parked over in the corner because we can't move it in the wheel chips. And so I was trying to find things that she could enjoy. So the first video, I have her swinging on that little bridge thing because that's just something that she can enjoy. But obviously I can't let go of her. I have to just hold her and assist her to be able to play. And then the second video is having to navigate her off of the wood chips and back onto the ramp at Avalon. And it's kind of the battle of what it is to get her up and back on the sidewalk. And then the third video, I brought her up the playground and got situated so I could take her down the slide. She saw her brothers going down the slide and she wanted to be able to enjoy that. So anything like slide related, I'm also more often or not doing the slide with her, or like Esther talked about with her son Josh, I'm directing Talia down a slide with assistance. And sometimes that's just kind of awkward and, you know, it's a good workout. My husband is doing that right here in this video, being able to interact and play with her on the slide. It might work.
I don't know if this video's playback was really good, but I'll play the next one.
So the next one is the other ramp, the accessible ramp that's on the back of Avalon Park, the playground. There's easily like a 6-inch lip. So it's basically a curb. So and as you can see, she's sitting there trying to like wheel herself forward because she doesn't understand that that's not safe for her. She just sees her brothers playing on the playground and wants to go play. And then these are some of the ones from when she was a kid, when she was younger. She used to have issues with head control. So we always kind of wedged her in certain ways to the little kid swing so she could swing because she really loved the sensory of being able to swing. It was calming to her. But more often than not, we were like swinging with her or assisting her so she could play. And even far into when she shouldn't be in those little kid swings anymore, we were still doing them because that was one of the only things she could do at the park if I wasn't hauling her up and down the little kid playground at Rotary. And then that's another picture of Talia at Avalon. And that whole section right there is wood chips and rocks from the surrounding area of the park. And her wheels were getting all caught up in that. So, and then these new bucket swings are really great, and I'm so grateful for them. But they're also again in wood chips. And for Talia, she's just such a petite kid that thankfully she sits and she holds still in the swing. But there's such a gap on the swings that not having straps available for security, if she were to shift or fight, she's a strong kid for 7, and we have definitely had some difficult moments, but if she were to fight or shift or do anything, she's going to be falling out of that swing. So just being able to have straps or some type of additional security to be able to keep her safe is necessary. You know, and I know she's not the only kid that can benefit from something like that. And then is there any more? I don't remember. I think it's good. Oh, yeah. So
I think that was all of the pictures that were provided.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's one on the next one.
The other way?
Yeah. So with that one, it was a few years ago. I brought her up onto the little kid playground at Rotary so she could sit there and play the drums. So that was actually a screenshot from a video, but just having to hold her assisted so she doesn't stand or walk unassisted She has her wheelchair. She has a gait trainer. She is just learning how to sit up on her own. Even unassisted is like 30 seconds to like a minute. It just depends on the day. So just being able to give her the independence and be able to go interact and play and do the things that she loves to do. She loves park day. But we just want to be able to have more accessibility and functionality for our families here in Havasu. So anyways, that is all. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Sam. So I do want to say before we jump in and maybe have some other families comment, the meeting that we had last week was really enlightening for myself and for Guy Reynolds, our park superintendent. I think us having this conversation with Sam, Esther, and Jillian in particular, they got a little bit more insight on what we're doing internally in our department as well. So for you all, when we are doing our pool closure, we're adding in an accessibility feature at the shoreline. So I'm not sure if you've seen the drop buckets or the spray amenities that are right at that shoreline. There is an empty spot that we waited for. We did the plumbing. We've got the, I can't remember the word right now, but this play feature, the apparatus, that's what it is. The apparatus, we've received it and we're just waiting for a pool closure so we can install it, and it's low to the ground. If somebody's in a wheelchair, they can roll up to it, and it's just a feature for anybody to be able to utilize, but it's geared towards that community being able to participate and enjoy the pool in a way that works for their abilities. The other thing, when I first got here, and I kind of let Jillian and Sam and Esther know this too, is Guy had taken me around to all the playgrounds and to the parks, and we had talked about how we can make these playgrounds, specifically the one at Rotary by the beach, more accessible. Currently, we have those great swings that the leadership program had put in, but we also, on the other side of that playground, we have the accessible teeter-totter, I think that's what I'm going to call it. But due to overuse or people not using it correctly, it always breaks down. So Guy had done his homework prior to us even meeting and speaking with Jillian, Sam, and Esther for an accessible WeGo round. So if somebody were in a mobility device or a wheelchair, they're able to roll on, strap in, and circulate through that apparatus. And then if you're not, and if you don't have a mobility, if you don't have if you can and you're able to walk and it's easily accessible, they can still utilize that feature as well. Guy reached out to one of the manufacturers, and he's already in the conversations and getting it ordered. So we are moving, but I think, like as I said, having that conversation with these group of passionate moms, and rightly so, it kind of ignited that fire in us too. Like, let's see what else we can look at. So they've been tasked with coming up with their must-haves and their Disney dreams, right? And just seeing how the Parks Department can work with them and what they can do to best help us in some of these areas as well. So that's just what I wanted to add to it. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay.
Good evening. This is my first time being able to speak, and I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Tommy Castro, and I have served in capacity in all of the major services, RISE, Mile Markers, and New Horizons, in such capacities as job coach, mentor, as well as a DTA staff member. I have brought our members, mostly the adults, to these parks. They love the parks. They love being there. They love being out in the community. They love living out loud. And I don't know what your guys' experience is with these people, but I can tell you it's been life-changing for me on a spiritual level. I have not only served them in the capacities I mentioned before, but I have fostered genuine friendships with these people. They are our community, and they love And they honestly are thankful for everything that you guys have done so far. And they are looking forward to more because they love it here. Since I left the services, I now serve in capacity as a mentor, coach, and chaperone for Special Olympics. This last weekend, we just went to Surprise, Arizona, and competed in a bocce tournament for the state, and we brought back a ton of medals. And if you guys have an opportunity to go and be involved in something that these people in our community are involved in, you will never see such unbridled joy and happiness that these people experience at actually just being able to participate. You've seen the videos, you've seen the 6-inch drop into wood chips, and we may take it for granted. They do not. It is a challenge, it is a struggle for them on a daily basis. I have pulled those wheelchairs through the dirt, through the rocks at Renaissance Fair. I have pulled them through the wood chips and the shredded tires. And something as small as a solid padded floor could change everything for them. The level at which we take for granted, we just don't even realize how big something small is for these people. They are our community. They are us. And we have an opportunity right now to make an incredible impact on the accessibility they have to the community which they love and that they love being a part of. I met Jillian in a capacity years ago at an event we call Cruising for Kids, where people come with their boats and they give rides. We take lots of pictures. We help people on wheelchairs get into the boats. And we went screaming across the water at 100+ miles an hour. Now, it's quite a rush for you and me. For them, it's like light speed. They absolutely go bonkers over these things. And if you get a chance to participate and share in that, it's better than your own feeling. And I wanted to just remind us all, they are our community and we are theirs. And not only are they that, they are our friends. And they will welcome you with open arms every time they see you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the consideration for our community.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the board?
Hi, I'm Sandy. I work for New Horizons, and I work with the age from 25 to 80 years old. But those 25 to 80 years old think they're 7, 10, and they would love to be a part of these parks that can get on those swings and just swing. We did have a wheelchair swing at our office, but that got removed. And we would put one of our wheelchairs on that swing, and just the joy, she was laughing and screaming that she was having on those swings. But just to be able, and we go to the park every day. Me and my client, we walk the channel every day. The members, since our office is probably this big, they have about 30 clients in this office. They just want to get in the van and go to the park, and to have swings and ramps for wheelchairs for them to get out there, the joy that would give them. We've even taken some of the wheelchairs over to the skate park and wheeled them through the skate park, and they're just laughing, just having a good old time. Some of our members have walkers, some of them have wheelchairs, some of them can just walk on their own, but they just want to be outside I want to be outside, they want to be outside. So we really would look forward to having something to support our older members. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will always, it's Bonnie. I don't know if you need to say that every time or not, but I will always advocate for swimming pools and going above the ADA requirements, because the ADA requirements are just the minimal requirements. And I believe our city can do more than minimal for everybody. When they mention fencing or a wall for the playgrounds at Rotary Park, it brought back a memory that when my son was 2 years old, we were at Rotary Park celebrating somebody's birthday. I think it was under 2. I was 400 pounds. Couldn't run. I could barely breathe, barely walk, but it didn't matter. I lived life anyway, and I did as much as I could with my kids as possible. And I was at Rotary with all the adults, all the other people, and you would think that somebody there is going to be able to watch the kids and keep eyes on them. I also had 2 other children. My daughter was 3, and my other son was the same age as the one that's running away. My son was down in the wash because the little kids park is right next to the wash where that bridge is, and there's no wall there, no fence or anything to stop children from running down into that wash. He was down the wash, and then before anybody even noticed, he was halfway out to the beach, like that far, who knows, almost to the picnic table out there that doesn't need a Ramada. But he was all the way out to that picnic table before somebody noticed, and somebody was running after him as much as possible. That was obviously more able than I was. So when they're talking about the walls, yeah, those are definitely probably needed. And I hated myself because I was 400 pounds, unable to take care of my children the way I wanted to, and I thought it was just me. So hearing that tonight was really something I needed to hear. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
My name is Kim, and Talia is my granddaughter. And so for the last 6 years, I've learned to do things a lot different. And I also work with a group through a church with adults with disabilities. And to see the things that they're not able to do because of their disabilities, whether it be if they're in a wheelchair or whether they have whatever prognosis they have that aren't able to work and think like you and I do. Now, Talia is nonverbal, so she doesn't talk. She can't say it hurts. She can't tell us what she wants to do. We have to interpret. And there's a lot of kids out there that don't have the ability to tell us. And like Samantha said, we're at the park. I can't take her in the wood chips with the wheelchair. I'm wheeling her around on the little cement thing. And, and all the other boys are like, Grandma, come here, Grandma, come here. Well, I can't. You can't be in both places at once. And it's difficult to not be able to be right in the middle of all of them and doing the same fun things. And so there was a lot of information given tonight. I know some of it's redundant, but it's definitely needed. We parked up at the top at Cypress, and the sidewalk goes out to the very end of the park, which is fabulous, but then we're almost in the street and had to walk through the street to get over to the car because there wasn't wheelchair accessible from the sidewalk into the parking lot other than on the very end. and which is okay, great, but we have to walk all the way to the very end and then all the way down and around because I can't take her off of the curb and keep us both safe. I mean, some people may be able to do that. I don't have the strength for that. And the same way to get her up and over, I have to take her to the very end to get her onto the sidewalk, to take her down to a park that she really can't play at. Other than just pushing her around and trying my best. And I even tried pushing her on the lawn. Well, it turned out the wheelchair doesn't go so great on the lawn either. It was worth a try. But there's a lot of different things, and there's a lot of members in our community of all ages, babies to adults, that all struggle. And I think it's important and an incredible opportunity to assist everybody. And like Bonnie said, the basic, we can do more than the basics. I think that's an important step as well. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the board?
My name is Dwight, and that is my wife there. She's passionate about her client, her job, and it's awesome to see faces here that want changes in the parks. These parks are outdated. And at that park that you had seen on the video, that magical castle, if something like that could be brought to our state, our city rather, so be it. I don't know if there's a budget for something like that, but please look into that. I mean, that park was ideal for the community that we have of the children and the adults here. That, like I said, the swing here, that's, like I said, from the ground up, it's just so outdated. So I hope that you guys have it in your hearts that you could look into new parks or new equipment for these guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the board? Okay. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for discussion. Anybody like to start us off? All right, well, I'll start us off. I can tell you, first off, thank you, Jillian, for bringing this to light with me. After having a conversation with her, it was eye-opening originally. I find myself pretty heavily involved with Special Olympics already, but here tonight, seeing this presentation and hearing from all of you was a genuine eye-opener. I can tell you that. You've heard me say it a couple times. I have two boys, and the things that you guys have all talked about tonight isn't something that I have to experience. So thank you for bringing the passion and bringing it up here. I know it's difficult to come up and talk in this forum, but I can tell you that's what this is for. So to see the passion, to hear your real life stories, to see the presentation and the videos, I can tell you definitely means a lot to me. And I can tell you it's going to drive me to do some things on my end. So thank you. Would anybody else like to make any comments? Go ahead.
I want to say thank you so much and kudos to all of you who have bringing this up. I think there's a lot of people, and myself as a mother, sometimes things are overlooked and or you notice things, but it's not something that affects you in your day-to-day life, but there's a large community that it does affect. So thank you so much for bringing this up and really having that drive to get behind it and bring the awareness. I think it's a great thing for all of us to get behind. I think that the community as a whole, just for any accessibility for everyone, which I think is really important. So thank you, and I'm really looking forward to kind of bringing this up and making sure that we can get some stuff done.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
I'd also like to say thank you all for coming up here and sharing all of your experiences. I grew up in construction. My dad had a paving company, and he had a focus on ADA accessibility. So when I first moved here, till this day, left and right, all I see is danger. I could list a whole bunch of places. But anyways, I'm right there with you. Very outdated. Oh gosh, to even say this out loud. One of the things that California does have that's good is a really well put together minimum standard when it comes to ADA accessibility and making sure that everybody's following it. That's all.
Thank you. Any board members? Okay. I think for us, I think if Director Vera wants to kind of chime in and talk a little bit more about, the steps forward from here, I see a consensus in the board and, with a direction we'd like to see. But at the end of the day, we're an advisory board. So, when it comes down to the budget dollars and, the availability of what you guys are able to do as a department, that's going to come down to you guys. What would you like to see from us, or what do you think your path forward is from here, Director Vera?
So, as I stated earlier, we've already been working on some accessible amenities. Of course, there's always room for added amenities, room for improvement. So, I gave this wonderful group the task of coming up with just a list of some of the things that they'd like to see that are must-haves. Jillian stated it earlier, even if it's just with the surface area first, and then moving on and seeing what's next. Obviously, and we did talk about this in our meeting, inclusive playground equipment in general is very expensive. So we need to be strategic in our approach. Of course, as budget season approaches and we start working on next year's budget, these are things that we can seek out, which is why it's going to be so important. I look at it this way: they're the subject matter expert, and we can help facilitate that with their help. So by you and Building Bridges coming together and working with the Parks Department, it's going to be imperative, and this will essentially help us and you see the change that is so needed in the community. I firmly believe, and even for me, and I'm speaking for my department, we understand that these are things that needed to happen prior to us even having this meeting, which is why we were taking the necessary steps. I think that it was important for them to come up and use this as a platform so that you all are made aware, and whoever is watching this at home, if we can just make sure that our communication is where it needs to be, and we can get some of those, working lists sooner than later. Guy, my park superintendent, and myself and our team can really start working on building that list on our end too. And what can we ask for? What can we do next year? And maybe it has to be a phased approach. Rome wasn't built in a day, and we understand that our parks are outdated and need improvement. We're currently working on a playground plan, and basically it's, as the playground's lifespans, hit their mark, replacing and, renovating, whatever that looks like. So we're actively working on that on our end. But I think that's where we're at right now. Just as long as we're able to communicate, keep that partnership. And I think the conversation that we had, and you all are more than welcome to chime in. This isn't just a Parks and Rec problem. It's a city problem. And I think with the help of Building Bridges, and even with Jillian's impact in the community and what River Scene does and getting that exposure, it needs to be a joint effort. And such as what we do with our youth, like sports leagues, how those dollars are raised and funded and donated. I think that could help offset some of the burden on our department. And it's that partnership and working together and helping things move along and possibly get things much quicker than we would be able to do if we were just relying on the Parks Department. So it really needs to be that partnership. And I think from the conversation that we had, which was so impactful, I think that's the direction that we're moving.
Great. Yeah. No, I can tell you, for all those that are here that are, having these communications and these meetings, I can speak frankly and tell you that Director Vera and Guy Reynolds back there are very, very well at the listening and executing. So, I've worked with them on a lot of the programs I'm involved with, and again, laid out a lot of the same concerns we had for some versions of issues we had. And there was a lot of execution that happened and it went well. So, I would encourage you all to keep those meetings going with them. And I think the direction that Director Vera said with, again, a wish list with, your priorities first. And I see that kind of that flooring being a top priority, keep pushing that. And then, also, do your best to help on your guys' end as well with, that coming up with that organization and trying to gather some funding on your own as well. But I can tell you they're very resourceful as well from the city's perspective. So anybody else have any final thoughts or comments? Go ahead.
I'm curious. Through ADA, is there any way that you guys can get, as a city, as a government agency, get assistance through ADA to help upgrade this stuff to make it compliant? Or through special nonprofits that deal with stuff like this?
So are you referring to possibly like grants?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's an abundance of grants out there, and we have a fantastic grants manager who I'm sure is actively looking for grants currently. I see a head nod in the back. So yeah, we're actively working on that. That's a fantastic idea. As far as our current playgrounds, in some cases, and this is with the ADA, in older facilities, if they were built prior to I think it's 1990, don't make me a liar, when was the ADA? 1990? 96. So buildings that were built, and even playgrounds, I mean, they get grandfathered in. So the requirement for the ADA accessible, it would be great. But if they were built that way, it's our job then, as they become obsolete or need to be refurbished or renovated, then that's when those ADA standards need to be implemented. So that's why we're taking advantage of, as these playgrounds have aged out, we got to get rid of them. And instead of just doing that hand bar for people to, take themselves out of their chair onto the seat, it's, well, what can we do differently to really make it accessible and inclusive and make it a universal playground for everyone to enjoy?
I remember years back, the first city that I worked for, we actually did one of those, and it took us about a month and a half to build the whole thing. But a majority of the money that they got for that came through grants and special stuff. If I remember right, it's been so many years ago, they got some help through the ADA, through the federal government, and they got quite a bit of grant money given to them from people who were just saying, here, you know what, use this, because, and especially when it comes into year and they've got to get rid of that money so that they can get their new money coming in and stuff like that. That's how they got a lot of the money to build this big park that we did. But that's why I brought that up. I was wondering if that was still in play or if it had been looked at or even thought about.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's a great thought, great idea. And it's, thankfully, like I said, we have such a great grants manager. That's something that she's already currently working on. So, and she's got a good success rate. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Thank you.
All right.
Kyler, if I may.
Go ahead, sir.
I don't like to get involved. I like to let you guys have the conversation. I really, really appreciate the robust conversation we're having, both with the public and the board up here. So great work there. And I just want to say this is a perfect time to have these conversations because this is starting in January is when we start talking budgets and priorities and things like that. So I say great work from staff, great work from you guys out there from bringing this now, and we can start having some of these conversations of some of the things kind of seem simple and a no-brainer to start working towards at least have a direction, a rudder for the ship kind of deal. So great work, guys.
All righty, thank you. Anybody else from the board? Okay. All right, we don't have any action on this, so we'll move on to our next item. Thank you all for coming and speaking on this item. We appreciate you. Move on to item 7.2, discussion of possible action strategies to boost community participation in parks and recreation programs. Director Vera.
Thank you. So in our last meeting in July, board member Pasquale had talked about the idea of that we needed to be able to create more space for participation in our programs. And while I do agree, I think that it's almost changed where we've been strategic in our approach. We've hired necessary staff. We'd bumped up participation numbers, or I would say, the number of participants that can participate. So the question really has changed. And I guess where I'm coming from is I think that we need to talk more about the strategies that we can put in place so we can get our numbers up, specifically in our after school programs, and some of our specialty programs. We have the space available, and now it's just getting the community involved and informing them and letting them know that, and then Ashley, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we compared it to like, the Hunger Games or something in our last meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, and I do want to preface that with saying, the history that I got prior to me starting, 100%, that's the way that it was made to seem. Thankfully with my first go around with summer camp, we were smart about how we did signups. We made it simple. We organized it. There was a rhyme and reason to everything that we did. We made sure that there was plenty of spaces open for the community to enroll their children. And I guess really that's where that question comes up then. It's, and maybe it's that perception in the past where people thinking, oh, well, Parks and Rec is already full, so I'm not even going to bother looking or try to enroll my child. And I think it's almost breaking some of that narrative and letting people know the space is available. We've been strategic in what we're doing. You're going to have a safe, fun environment for your child, whether that's through after school care or summer camp. So I just wanted us to have that open dialogue and maybe come up with some strategies, and maybe the board can help us with some of our approaches and what we're doing to better educate and inform the community that we don't need to have that mentality of, this is the Hunger Games and you better hurry up and get there at 7:00 in the morning before they open up at 8 or 9 so I can enroll my child, and relieve some of that stress that a lot of our families in the past have had to endure, right? So that's kind of where we're at right now. So I just kind of wanted, it's an open-ended question, but I just really want to get the feedback and see where everybody's head is at.
Thank you. Sounds like maybe, Ashley, this was part of your topic that you had added. So if you have some comments you'd like to make, I'll give you the floor.
I will try to make a comment. What this is sort of opposite of what I brought up, but that's very positive. I loved hearing about all the community participation in the fall activities. And so, Gabby, are you seeing that it's more the programming that has a lack of participation?
So I think it's more in our historical programming that we would see the high numbers. So our after school care and our summer camps, I think those are where we're seeing that deficit. Our specialty programs, classes, events, those are doing well. But we could definitely benefit from boosting up some of our after school care numbers and summer camp numbers. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if that's just because parents had thought that these programs would fill up, so they found alternate childcare or resources. But I really think then, and again, it's about shifting and changing that narrative. I don't want the community to think that they're not able to access affordable childcare, or that it's filled up and they have nowhere to go, or that they think that their kids need to stay home by themselves, or walk home from school or take the bus because our programs are full. So it's really about shifting that narrative and letting the community know that we have the space, it's available, it's resources for you, it's open, and enroll your kids, if this is something then that you want to do, it's there.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Ashley.
Can you talk about any improvements you've made to the online accessibility to registration?
Yeah, so currently, and I know we've kind of briefly talked about this in the past, coming into this, we definitely saw that there were some big deficiencies in our current software. It's not very user-friendly on the back end, nor is it on the customer's end. So we're currently looking at new software We should hopefully be having that happen within the next couple months or towards the end or mid to end of next year. And maybe this is something then that we can add to the agenda is if everything is approved, maybe possibly having this software provider do a demo, just a quick little presentation for the board. If you all would be interested in seeing something like that, just when we finalize and have concrete who we're going to select, I think that might be a really cool opportunity for the board, and for any of our community members who are out in the audience or at home to view and see some of the differences in software and how it will improve the user experience.
I love that. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just curious, are the schools putting it out there at all about specifically to the after school program that there is still room available? Are they expressing that at all?
I'm not 100% sure. We do work rather closely with the schools for the most part, of course, because we operate our programs inside the schools. But more or less that responsibility falls onto our department.
Is there something that we can put out to give to them to at least let them know if there is still room available, that they could have the opportunity to sign up for some parents that aren't aware?
100%. I think that's a great idea. We can take some of the original flyers that we had and post those and put them out and see if the schools would. And I'm not sure, and I know some of you have children in the school district currently. Do they use Peach Jar or another similar software where they like maybe do mass communications to families? Okay.
I think they use like Class Dojo or yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then maybe then that's an avenue we can try to take. So great idea. Thank you.
So I guess to clarify, was there vacancies in the after school program this year?
Oh yeah, we have plenty of space and at all of our sites. Yeah. Starline has the highest attendance. We're maybe a little over 100. We're averaging like 115, 120, just depends. But even for our one-day camps, and granted, I understand that parents are taking off work if their kids are off work, especially during like fall break, winter break, spring break, things like that. But we do those like specialty days. So right before fall break, that Friday, typically the kids are out of school. And we host like a one-day camp, and we had really, really low numbers. And I was surprised, but, maybe not taking into account maybe how many families were actually taking off from work to spend that time with their kids. So, but just a thought, and it had something that, and then Ashley, bringing it up last time we met, it really, kind of being more introspective and what could we be doing differently to really, inform the community, because we are pushing out through social media, which we'll talk about in that next agenda item, but we're pushing out all of these events and programs and classes and activities. And I don't know if we're necessarily still hitting on that we have the availability open for after school care. So.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic. I mean, my kids have never attended. We haven't had the need for the after school program, but, again, in the past, I'd always heard it was always full immediately, like within minutes of it opening. So
yeah,
it's kind of news to me. So that's definitely good to hear. But yeah, I can tell you that as far as the camps that you're discussing, like fall break and spring break, I know that just on the youth sports side of things, our turnout for the youth sports that during those times are so minimal that we end up canceling practices and games during those times. So just something to consider on that end. But any other topics or questions before we open to the public? Okay. All right, this is a public hearing. Would anybody like to address the board on this item?
Good evening. So some suggestions to boost the community participation. Maybe talk to the community. And then the website, apparently, from what my understanding from the community engagement officer, is being the city's website is the current one is being eliminated and they're getting a new one. So some of the things that you guys have been sharing are not being posted currently at the city's website, the city's current website. And a lot of the things are being missed. Like, they went a whole month without a single press release, which is not accurate because there was a lot of things that happened in the month of September. So, you definitely, also, the Go Lake Havasu just did an update on the things that they've been doing. And I noticed that what they did, one of the things that they presented was how social media has helped them with some of their things. Apparently, actually, really weird, Facebook was the thing that kept increasing people being engaged in their Go Lake Havasu product. So I just wanted to recommend some simple things like asking questions on maybe create a separate page just for Parks and Rec so people can see Parks and Rec before they see all the other city stuff, and really, create a special hashtag for Parks and Rec, and maybe create some ideas where people are, if they hashtag Parks and Rec for anything during any event, that maybe they get a prize at the aquatic center or something, free swim day or something like that. That's just different ways to increase engagement. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the board on this item? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for final comments, discussions on this item. Go ahead.
I think all of our brains are in the same place when it comes to ideas. I have a list of items here, such as like drop into the schools or coordinate with the school district and the PTSOs at each school, because each PTSO, well, some of the PTSOs have their own Instagram, and so they put out posts. One of the main things on here, though, is another item that's on the agenda today, which would be to create a Parks and Rec social media. Let's have that. All right, that's all. That's all my comments.
Just quickly, I'm going to go a little old school. Have we thought of flyers in coffee shops and like some of our local businesses? Because we have people that are out and about. You go and you grab something from a restaurant and then you're standing there to pick up or whatever. Like, can we possibly get, maybe our just monthly schedules, like, I don't know, just out to everywhere, because there's always kids and parents looking around at the ice cream shops. Just a thought.
No, and that's great. So currently, our team has been pursuing some of those things that you all had suggested. In particular, we've had some restaurants reach out to us to ask, like, hey, can we put up your flyer, and in exchange, can we maybe leave a flyer there? So we're just looking at how that's going to work for us, and if it could potentially help, for sure. When we did the Itty Bitty Golf Open last year through the JGAA, we did reach out to the preschools in the community and were able to leave flyers. So definitely a good thought, but we could be doing a better job of that for sure.
Any other questions or comments? Go ahead.
One more idea came up. Would it be possible to create a Google form to where people can sign up and join an emailing list, and the announcements that you put out on Facebook and whatnot, these beautiful flyers that you gave us in the packet that I love so much, they can get that emailed to them if they sign up on the emailing list.
Yeah, which is another great idea. So with the hopeful software that we will get, it actually will generate an email list. So everybody who's currently enrolled or has an account on this software, we could do email blasts, and we can send out flyers or just communication. So with new software, I think that's going to help with that in particular. So we're not typing out everything, and taking that. So, But yeah, these are all really great ideas. So thank you.
All right. Final thoughts, questions? Okay, perfect. We'll move on to item 7.3, presentation and discussion, social media and community outreach. Director Vera.
This was another great idea and agenda item brought to us by Board Member Pasquale. So when we talk about social media and community outreach, the city does a really good job, specifically our community engagement officer and their team, in trying to get the word out on all of the things that the city is doing. Their job is imperative because they make sure that messaging is streamlined, that everything that's being posted is consistent, clear, and concise, and stays within whatever the city's parameters are for social media. So as great as it may seem to have, a Parks and Rec specific social media page or, an Instagram page, I just don't imagine that would work when we have such a great community outreach person right now. However, Miss Bonnie Toy had a fantastic idea with the hashtags. And I think that's a really cool opportunity, is maybe then the Parks Department coming up with a unique hashtag. So when we do post certain things up, the community knows, like, oh, I wonder what Parks and Rec is up to. Let me just type in this hashtag and it'll pull up everything that we're doing. So that was brilliant. I guess another really cool thing is to make it almost like a contest too, I think is another great idea for people, just to kind of learn a little bit more about what we're doing and being strategic in our approach with our marketing and outreach. The other thing is, and we recognize this, flyers are very outdated. It's kind of old school. You're making flyers, right? And we have a flyer for almost every program. But the main resource that we use currently is Facebook. And that's where we see the most engagement from our programs. And the flyers do rather well on there, and not just on the Lake Havasu City Facebook, but when we're on the Orchids and Onions, when Jillian posts us up on River Scene Magazine when they do their calendar, but utilizing some of these other facets that can help us get the word out. I mean, I think when I had been posting some of our programs, events, and utilizing, the Lake Havasu community page, the Lake Havasu, Orchids and Onions, and all these other pages that the city uses that has like over 60,000 users, we get really great feedback from the community. So I didn't want to just not put this agenda item on there. I definitely want us to talk about it. And then now, I guess that even, I'm going to pose this to you all as the board, is maybe then even utilizing all of you and helping reach out to more community members, because all of you were selected to be on this board because you brought something unique. You have your own circle of influence, and being able to utilize you in helping us get the word out. And then on our end, as a department in partnership with our board, making sure that you have the necessary information so you can help us with that community outreach aspect. I'm sure most of us, if not all of us, have social media, and being able to utilize that very free tool, I think that would be really beneficial to our department. And again, using your own circle of influence and all the people that you impact. So what are your thoughts?
Open it up. Go ahead.
Sorry, Mercedes Kaiser here. I'd be happy to do that. What's the hashtag and when can we start using it?
I know. Now I'm feeling put on the spot. It was such a good idea. And we have to do something creative. It can't just be like LHC Parks, So we'll pin that one and figure out what our hashtag will be. Maybe we could do a cute contest and see who can come up with the hashtag. We'll do something fun. So, good idea, Bonnie.
I think that's a wonderful idea. Also, what about a QR code that we can keep evergreen straight to Parks and Rec? And we can utilize that all around. I mean, it can be printed onto like a sticker. You could have it engraved on something so that people can't vandalize it and, rip it off. I mean, I'm just You got to think about it that way.
Where would the QR code?
It would go to the Parks and Rec site, or it could go to, like, if we have, because we have a page on the city's website. So once the city kind of gets their feet underneath them with their new website, it can go straight to there. It can go straight to that events calendar if we want it to, but it's something that you can put it everywhere. I mean, you can have these nice little engraved plates. It's like, want to know more or whatever. And then you can just pull your camera up, scan it, and it'll go right to everything that we have. And we can have that at the aquatic center, at every park. You know,
21st century. I like it.
I'm sure there's a lot of businesses that would be like, yeah, stick that on my door. Like, you know, it's not anything that's taking up a lot of real estate anywhere else. And it's something that we can use. And it's just direct to, you know, from whatever we're planning to the customer. And then it's a lot easier for people to get to.
Fantastic. Great.
May I ask you a question?
Of course, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. How, like, all of these flyers, you have them done up way ahead of time, right? And maybe you could share them with all of us?
Yeah, 100%. So, which I goofed on this one. I gave you guys the flyers, but didn't give you the monthly calendar. But Brooke does, and Brooke is our program coordinator for those of you who haven't met her yet. She does a fantastic job planning all of these things out far in advance. So when she has them, we can make sure that you all are communicated with and you have the necessary information so you can post that. And I know you've done that for us in the past as well.
No, absolutely. And having them, the physical ones is great too, but to have them digitally.
Yeah.
Because as much as I try to trick the Facebook algorithm, I still see this, you know, not the cool Parks and Rec stuff. I see the stupid stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just, like, I swear, I'm like, and it won't show me the cool Parks and Rec stuff.
Algorithm is a Parks and Rec hater.
If anybody has, you know, Zuckerberg's number. But if you can share those with us, and I'm really glad that you said that, because this group specifically is a very curated group. We picked a bunch of people in very, very different realms, from football to baseball to adaptive needs to everything. You all have your spheres of influence that Gabby was speaking about, that we are very reliant on, not only from your perspective, but like she said, your sphere of influence. And so I've been really trying to make sure that I can help get the word out, because this parks team is doing such amazing things, and there's such awesome things going on that it just doesn't, we don't get the love that other things get. You know, unfortunately, onions get way more love than cool Parks and Rec stuff. So if you guys can help out in any way when we get these flyers, and, you know, promote the ones that you're passionate about, anything like that would be great.
So, and then that will, what we can do is tomorrow when we're in the office, we'll make sure that you all receive the digital flyers and calendars. And then once December is completely finalized, we'll make sure you all get that as well too, because we've got some real fun things planned for the holidays. So get ready.
Right. Is that calendar, is that on the city's webpage?
It should already be up, but I'm not 100% certain. So I will, like I said, I'll definitely make sure that you all receive it tomorrow. And then please post, spam, everything. Yeah, currently it doesn't look like the November calendar has been posted yet. So, but yeah, and because the city is there's just so much going on, the flyers will get pushed down, the calendars will get pushed down, like with a lot of what the other departments are trying to post too. So, definitely with the help of yourselves, I think, would make a huge impact. And our department is trying to be intentional with everything that we do, whether that is developing a kayaking program for adults or an adaptive cooking class for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. You know, that intentionality piece is really important. And we work really hard to make sure that we're hitting every person in the community, not just youth, not just teens, not just adults or active aging adults. So I think with the help of everything that we're doing, and hopefully with all of you posting soon, that'll make a difference. The other thing is kind of like what Bonnie alluded to earlier, the city is updating the website currently. So hopefully we're going to see some positive changes in that, and making sure that all of our programming is up to date and on there. The puzzle pieces are starting to fall into place. New website, hopeful new software, better marketing strategies. I think we're going to see that the engagement, not only digitally, but actual attendance wise and participation in our programs is going to skyrocket. So we're really excited.
I think, to Philomena's credit here, I think the QR code would be an amazing thing if we could get the city's webpage after whatever happens to it, where it's kind of the hub for all parks and recreation. Right now, it seems like it's more of like an info page for the city, which is still, a necessary part of it. But I think if we could have that recreation hub in there where that QR code, like she said, would take you to, that calendar and all those activities and easy ways to sign up. And, parents that, hey, I've got this free time, I want my kid involved, could, get there quickly, and it just be that centralized hub. I think it would be amazing. So, as far as the social media, I know that was a topic on this, but it kind of sounds to me like they're probably, try to put this nicely, but maybe is an interest on the city level to split up the pages for each individual departments. Is that what I'm gathering?
I don't think that's the right way that I would word it. I just think that because we have our community engagement officer, we just want to make sure that things are streamlined and all of the information is found in the same place.
Sure.
So,
and I can understand that. I'm not trying to word it as it's a negative, but I think that's maybe the goal is to have all the social media accounts under one city page and not separate them like other cities do.
Yeah, and then here's the thing, right? And at least the way that I think we're looking at it as a team, and this is what I mean by team is the whole city. That's a lot of work for one person to post and come up with video ideas or flyers or scripts and whatnot. And if that same person is doing it for multiple organization, like multiple departments or divisions, like that can be a lot of work. And then on the other hand is, and I'm not even, I'll use us as an example. If we were to have our own, web page, are we, the owner of that Instagram page or Facebook page? Are we going to be responsible? Like, what if we didn't do or post something that necessarily met the guidelines of what the city required? So it's easier just to streamline that process through our community engagement officer.
And Jerry does, frankly, she does a great job, especially with the Know Your Park series and stuff she's been doing. So, credit to her for that. So, okay. I don't think I've opened this one up to the public yet. So, would anybody like to address the board on this item?
Sorry, I enjoy social media slightly. Okay, mostly I enjoy Facebook. The rest of the social media can go somewhere else. But Facebook is free for everyone currently. And it has like 3 billion users the last time I checked. And each of you, if you have a Facebook page, you can separate out public posts from friends only posts, and you could create public posts on your page that can share the parks things to help engagement with the parks department and with the city stuff also. Maybe you want to let people know about the rest reports or whatever. You can just do a public post about that, just saying. And social media is really an amazing, Facebook is an amazing thing because I can literally, through Messenger, call my mom and hang out with my mom who lives in Montana. And when I have my grandchildren over, my mom gets to see her great-grandchildren and hang out and talk to them via Messenger. I think that's just an amazing thing. My kids didn't get to experience that, but my grandchildren do. So I think that's kind of cool. But I don't think you guys take advantage of Facebook enough. And TikTok, I have no idea if the city's allowed to do TikTok or any of that. But maybe if you did similar videos and we're able to post those on, you have YouTube, so you can do the YouTube shorts and then add it to the Facebook again, for whatever reason, when I looked at the Go Lake Havasu's social media post on the section of the report that they gave, each month that they showed for the months that they showed on their report, there was an increase in usage with Facebook consistently, but the other ones had decreased usage, but not Facebook, and it's free. And social media is not a bad thing. By the way, it's not. Thank you. There's a balance, and some people forget about the balance. Sometimes learning when there's something wrong going on with your parks via social media, you might get a better perspective, and that's not a bad thing. It's how you respond to them that matters, because if you respond to them negatively, then they want to respond negatively back. That's when it becomes a bad thing. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for any final comments, questions. All right. We will move on to item 7.4, discussion and possible action, future Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting frequency. Director Vera.
Yes, so this was, I believe, the final recommendation as an agenda item for Board Member Pasquale. So I'm not sure if she kind of wants to take lead on this. Myself and Councilmember Moses had some brief conversations, but I'd like to gauge where the board is at with this topic in particular.
Sure. Ashley, did you want to start us off on this one?
Yes, I didn't intend for all of the topics to be on one agenda, but thank you. So we have had a break, and now we're, in a 3-hour meeting, and I don't know that that's necessarily what we want. But I also we haven't in the past had topics to discuss every month. So I just wanted to have a discussion with the board about it.
All right, thank you. Any board members have any opinions, thoughts? Obviously, we were monthly meetings, then we had a little bit of a break. So any ideas, agreements on monthly, differing from monthly? Just kind of see what your guys' thoughts are.
I'm fine with monthly because maybe it will even out this.
Well, I can tell you this is a rarity. So this is something that usually our board is struggling for topics, and this was a discussion that I had with both the director and Councilmember Moses as well. So this is a rarity, but again, it's a great thing. This is what we're here for. But anybody else?
I enjoy being here, but whatever the consensus is, I will roll with that.
Yeah, I'll chime in if it's okay.
Of course.
It's really important that we have this board because there are big topics and big things that every once in a while, not all the time, but every once in a while, we need our group of experts or our fingers out into the community that have different perspectives, and so what you guys provide is absolutely invaluable. And I love that we're bringing more stuff to this board, asking for things to be put on the agenda. We get in trouble sometimes because we haven't had anything on the agenda, so we start talking about things, and that's not necessarily legal. Where we have very, very strict rules with this format of how we can conduct business. So it's kind of why I'm here. I'm supposed to keep us on the straight and narrow and not breaking any rules. And also just kind of give you input from the council on what we're looking to hear from you guys, right? Of that is, because that's what this is. This isn't a city council, this isn't a council. This is a recommendation board. We need recommendations on things so that if the shades at a certain park aren't working out or we need to do something different, you can make a recommendation to us. I would have personally never thought that wood chips and ground up tires are not a good thing kind of deal. And so having that kind of input and feedback from a parks board like this is absolutely invaluable. And I'm trying to think back if I ever approved a park with that kind of stuff in it, and just wanted to, kick myself for allowing something like that, because now having this input, we just wasted a bunch of time and money. You know what I mean? We all had great intentions of building this park, and then it fell flat because of, a lack of understanding of from that perspective. So we need this board, and we need everybody to show up, and we need all of those things. So in whatever we decide to do, we have to kind of commit to it as a team, because there have been a couple times, and I think that's from lack of participation and a lack of things to talk about, where people aren't showing up and we don't have a quorum. I think the first one that I joined you guys up here, we didn't have a quorum, which is, frustrating. And so, because I want you guys to understand, there is so much time and resources spent from our parks team on this, if we're not getting the most out of it. So we want to be respectful to time and resource, because you see the event calendar, you see all the things that we need to address. We need them to get to work and not spend it here if there's nothing to talk about, if there's not something pertinent to talk about. So I want to, no matter what, I want to empower you guys to just keep bringing things up, or if you see something, talk to Director Vera or Kyler or whoever's, running the board at the time, and work through the appropriate channels to get it on the agenda so we can talk about it. But yeah, that's it. You guys serve a very, very important role. We just need to make sure it's a good use of time, of everyone's time, including yourself.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Any ideas? Again, maybe some of the board members that haven't chimed in yet, would be great to hear from you what your thoughts are. Go ahead.
Yes, I would feel like as the need comes up, for the frequency of meetings to be increased. But as history has shown, I haven't been here for very long on this advisory board. But if there are multiple things coming in where there would be a need for other meetings, I would be open to that. And again, with the remaining of the board on board, in agreement with that as well.
Thank you. All eyes are on you, Jimmy. What's your thoughts?
Let me ask a question. I don't know, because this is the first time that I've done this. I don't know as far as the process of who to talk to or who to bring something up, but I have a big concern, and it has to deal with Rotary Park as well. And I'll state what it is. And
can I stop you for a quick second?
Sure.
Just because I think it's going to be important. We need you to speak into the microphone. So that if city council members want to watch this, city council members want to watch this back later on or something, they can hear your words.
Gotcha. I'm involved with the senior softball program here. And about 98 to 99% of the ball games that we play every Monday and Thursday. And when our the league season starts, which starts the first Monday after the new year, all the way through March. I have brought it up to people that I have seen at the park, the workers at the park. I've even talked to a couple supervisors about it out there, where the batting cages are behind field 3, where the storage deal is there. There is no ADA accessibility for wheelchairs. We have.
So let me just interrupt real quick, just because I don't want to, Councilmember Moses said, we want to make sure we're staying on topic. So that one of the boards
that's the reason why I wasn't sure how to approach.
Yeah. So and this is a perfect example of what we want to do. So we have item number 8, which is future discussion items. So if you have a concern outside of what we're talking about now, that would be the prime time to add that and just get that on the next meeting agenda.
Okay.
But currently, right now, we have to stay on track with what we're talking about, and that's the board meeting frequency.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I just want to find out how to approach it.
Yep.
And Kyler, can I?
Yeah, of course.
And this is a perfect example. And so thank you for bringing that up because these are things that we run into too. And so I think maybe one of the things we can move forward with moving forward is we can do more of an orientation. I don't know if did you receive an orientation before you came on this board?
Not really.
Okay.
I went, through our process and stuff like that and got a notification, but as far as a total orientation, I don't remember, to be honest with you, I don't remember.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I'm at. But the thing and my concern is eliminating an issue before the issue gets started.
Yeah.
And if it gets started, it could barrel roll and do something that really didn't need to be barrel rolled into.
Yeah, thank you.
Especially having worked almost 30 years in city government in public works.
So, and then some of those things too, because you have this platform, and most of you know this. I mean, board member Mercedes had an issue out the Grand Island, and she had brought it to my attention. So those type of things, you all have that direct contact to me. Shoot me an email,
Okay.
And we can address that way too. So,
Okay.
that's also an avenue that we can move towards.
Okay.
Yeah. So, as far as the meeting frequency, again, I want to go back to this because I do think it is important that we come up and hammer out a solution. What Director Vera, what would you like to see? I mean, what do you think is beneficial in your position? I mean, at the end of the day, we're here for you. So, what's your thoughts?
Quite frankly, when we go back to last year, right, we only met, I believe maybe it was 5 or 6 times. So really it equates to almost bi-monthly that we were meeting, like every other month we were meeting. And as Councilmember Moses has stated earlier too, it makes more of an impact when we actually have agenda items. Obviously the board looks very different than it did a few months ago, and we have different board members that have different talents, different backgrounds, which is fantastic. I would say, and this is like almost like an anomaly with all these agenda items, which is fantastic. And I know in my approach, I'm trying to think differently regarding this board. I mean, that's why there's a whole presentation and there's pictures now, and we conversate more, and it allows for questions, and we're not just running off events that aren't ours, right? I think for right now, possibly moving to every other month in meeting frequency. And then now if we see that every meeting we're having is jam-packed like this, then I know that we've accomplished something, and then we can possibly have this conversation again and maybe move back towards doing monthly if that is necessary. So that's where I'm at right now.
Great, thank you.
Chairman?
Go ahead, Ashley.
Thank you. I support that fully. I think that we don't have an ongoing project right now like we did when the park, sorry, the name just...
Main Street Commons.
Thank you. Main
You're
Street
welcome.
Commons, when that was when that was being developed. We don't, and then we had a field study before that currently the board isn't needed in that way. So, and we have a very competent, passionate director who takes initiative and says yes to things that are in her prerogative. And so we don't need to meet just to approve the minutes from last month's meeting. And I think it takes a lot of government resources to hold these meetings. Long story short, I support what Gabby suggested.
Thank you. I'll just make a couple comments. I mean, I haven't been on this board as long as Ashley has. She's got the standing record, I think, for being on the board the longest. But I can tell you that this board has evolved just since I've been here. Even with the new parks director and different council liaison. I think this board is definitely, like Councilmember Moses said, a necessity. I think that this board and the form that we have it in is super important. And I've seen like quite a few meetings where we've had very similar topics brought to us, like tonight, where we've had the ball fields and a lot of these other things where this room was jam packed, where there was standing room only. So I definitely never want to take away from that. I would tell you that I can agree with the every other month meetings, in my opinion, but I worry that if we stretch that out much farther than that may diminish the interest in the board and may not give the people the opportunity to address the board if we went to, like I said, even farther than that as far as the separation between the meetings. So I could agree with the every other month, but I think much more than that, we're really kind of taking away and detracting from the ability for people to come and speak without already reaching out to us and having an agenda item. Again, we have this call to the public. We've had it to where people have not talked to us and shown up to the call to the public and hammered home a bunch of topics, and then we've added it to another agenda when then they all came back and talked to us again. So I do think that this is important for us to have this and gives the outlet for people to come talk on the record where everybody can see it and hear it. So,
and then if I could interject,
sure.
I think another great opportunity, and we've actually spoke about it here, is that engagement that we're going to have now with you all, sharing the flyers, the calendar. So we're not losing that relationship that makes this board so important. And like I said, as we see more agenda items come, and I hope that is the case, as more agenda items end up on our agenda, if we decide, okay, these meetings now have went from 30 minutes to 3 hours, then we can have that conversation again. I'm not opposed to it. I enjoy our Mondays. I enjoy seeing you guys. It's great. I just want to make sure that we have more things like we had today on a regular basis. So if we could try the every other month, and we'll reconvene, of course, if you all vote on that, and then we see what our next meeting looks like.
Great. All right. This is a public hearing. Would anybody like to address the board on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for either final discussion or a motion.
Kyler, if I may just make one more comment.
Go ahead.
And because we kind of put a lot on you guys to bring stuff up for us to talk about. I'll tell you from my own personal standpoint, I'm looking for more ways to get more input. There were probably sometimes where we should have solicited more input from people that maybe we didn't. We didn't think about that. So I've talked with Director Vera about this. I think staff and council could do a better job of giving you guys more directions. That way we're not just doing a show and tell, and we're actually providing the service that we're here to do for our community, right? And so there's personal responsibility on this side too. So just want you to know we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I know sometimes with me, because again, years ago, this board, a lot of the topics that got brought up were wild, to say the least. There was some interesting discussions that happened, stuff that was completely out of the purview of the board sometimes, and even out of the interest of what the city wanted. So I can appreciate the fact that, that if you guys, we're all here for the right reasons and we all have a purpose, but we also need you guys to tell us what you want us to discuss and give you the advice on, because I also do want to get, I don't want to get too crazy where it's like, hey, give us all the topics that you guys want to discuss. And next thing you know, we're talking about, building a roller coaster at Rotary Park, or, something completely outlandish that isn't within the, something that the city wants to do. So, definitely the direction from you guys, I think, is helpful. And again, to your credit, Director Vera, I mean, your reports have been super informing, which is amazing. That alone, in my opinion, gives this meeting purpose that says, hey, look at all this stuff that we're doing. And it gives an outlet, because again, that we've talked about that outlet not necessarily being the best right now for the city. It gives that outlet for people to watch this and say, holy cow, look at all these things that are coming up that we can take part in. So
then let me ask you this. Would you say, if we did decide to go every other month, but we still sent out that presentation monthly, do you think that would be a benefit?
Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't oppose it. I think it would be amazing to still know what's going on, and that would spark interest to me to possibly say, hey, this, this month we were off on the meetings, but we saw the report. Hey, here's some items we want to talk about for next one, because again, we're not seeing a big, huge report at the end, and then we're having to wait 2 months to talk about those items. So
Then I will gladly make sure then that we would do that.
awesome. All right, final comments. Again, if there's no final comments, this is where we would take action as a board, and we would need a motion to change our frequency. So I'll leave it to you guys.
Well, motion to recommend.
Okay.
It's not something that. Sorry, I'm pretty sure that that isn't something that this board can make. Believe this is a city council decision. But if this board is making that recommendation as city council, it holds a lot of weight. So, so I wanted a little more information in there and turn it back over to you, Kyler.
Sure. Okay. Does anybody have any final discussion? If not, looking for a motion to recommend if there is one.
Motion to recommend bi-monthly and also be sent out information every single month. And with the addition of, maybe have an additional meeting in between bi-monthly if needed. Was that?
That could work.
Okay.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any final discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And any opposed? Okay. All right, we'll move on to item number 8, future discussion items. Would anybody like to add a future item for discussion?
I'll take the ball. I'd like to bring back the discussion that I had with the issue with our senior softball people and access at the park over there at Rotary. So I'd like to get that on the agenda and ask about it, because I have a lot of people at the park asking me about it.
Okay. So would a topic be something to the effect of access to Rotary Park?
Safety access, yes.
Okay, at the Rotary Park ball fields?
Rotary Park, yes, for handy.
Does that give you guys enough guidance over there? Or do you want something a little more?
I'm sorry. I'm not used to these. It's basically an ADA issue. It's a safety issue for the seniors at the park. At Rotary. Near Field 3.
Okay, and we would need a second for that. Would anybody like to second his future item?
I'll second.
Alrighty, perfect, thank you. Any other items we'd like to add for future discussion? We did mention the software demo. I don't know if that's something we want to do now or if we want to just kind of wait and see how that looks.
Let's wait till New Year. Once I can confirm that we are good to go. And then I will make sure that as soon as I get the green light, it'll be on the agenda, and I'll make sure we can schedule them and have them. They probably won't be in person. It'll probably be virtual, but just walk us through the software. If you all have questions, maybe learn a little bit more about the selected software company, and then we kind of go from there. But I think that'll be something really beneficial, not only to yourselves, but to our community members in the audience and at home, and it'll give you more insight into the craziness behind the scenes.
Great. I do have an item I'd like to possibly get added is discussion of like off hours ball field lighting. To when ball fields aren't necessarily in use, if we could talk about keeping lights on and such. So would anybody like to second mine?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other items we'd like to discuss?
I have something. Pool, that extra pool there was talk bid, right? We were asking for bids for outside pool. Is there any motivation, because this is something that's been brought up to me, for looking into entertaining to keep up with our other areas that are close to us, other communities, for additional indoor.
Additional indoor what?
Like field house, indoor sports arenas, complexes. I know we're tight on space in our city, but we've got this, we have, the opportunity of maybe ASU, that campus is now just hanging out there. We've got outdoor sports fields, but.
So ASU or ASU?
Yes, ASU proper.
That is the school's district's property.
Okay.
So it does not belong to the city. I think that we can have more of those conversations as Councilmember Moses alluded to earlier with budget coming up. I would also say that we're actively working on finalizing our scope of work for our master plan. And that is an opportunity because the board will play an integral role in that process, in speaking life into what you hope to see in your community, not only as board members, but as community members. So that may be something we want to hold on to till that process really starts.
Okay.
Okay. Any other items? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move to item number 9, future meetings.
So the future meetings were not listed on the agenda because that was part of the discussion that we just had. So it looks like we're going to skip the November 24th and go straight to December 22nd. However, that might require a conversation amongst the board since it's so close to the holidays.
Do you want to have that conversation now, or what do you want to do?
I think we should have it now. I mean, I will be in town. I don't have a problem. I don't know.
I don't necessarily know that November will be canceled. Is there a reason that
I will not be here.
November is canceled? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about because of action, from tonight's meeting. I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't why.
No. I will not be present for November. I'm sorry.
Okay. So again, that leaves December 22nd, which is 3 days before Christmas. So, turn your microphone on, council member, so we can hear you. Okay. Unless you want Jimmy to tell you that. No, I mean, again, it's totally up to you guys and how you all want to proceed. I mean, if we cancel it, that leaves us again 2 months. We meet back in January again, or we figure out another time to do it.
I will be here for December, so I'm fine with that if everybody else is. I would like to request maybe Santa hats.
If we're wearing Santa hats, then I'm in.
They'd have to be holiday hats.
Yes, holiday hats, of course.
How's your availability look? The other two down here?
Availability's good.
I'm good, but just throwing this out there for the one time, why don't we move it back a week, the week before? Can they do something like that? That's that way you're not tied right into Christmas.
I don't want to commit, say yay or nay, because I am not 100% sure.
I think the other concern is we want to be consistent in what we're doing, right? So if we're continually meeting on the fourth Monday or whatever it is now, I don't know that we want to necessarily change that. So is that what you were going to?
That's the information I was going to give you too, is that they're pretty rigid with when they do it so that everybody knows when we're doing it, right? And so we want, the city likes to be in a routine, and they don't like to stray too far away from it.
Well, let's say this then. I mean, it looks like so far the consensus is we do have possibly a quorum to do the 22nd. So maybe we just schedule it for the 22nd, and if possibly Director Vera or Lynn, if you can send out an email and maybe just try to get an idea early if people aren't going to be here, and then we can cancel it if necessary.
Sounds good.
Lynn?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
I apologize for not clarifying the November date.
No worries.
I knew that. I should have known. I forgot about that.
It's Monday. We're still struggling today. Okay. All right. With that being said, any final comments, thoughts? Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll adjourn this meeting. Have a great evening. Thank you for coming.